Hey, what's up, YouTube? It's the Dead Noob, and I'm back again. I actually found some time to go ahead and get a recording done. So, does Gray Zone have an AI problem? Yeah, let's get into it. The NPCs in Gray Zone were rather functional rerees, if you get my drift. And a shot at them would make them stand still and look in your direction without moving or barely reacting. Well, that was prior to 0.4.1 and the subsequent 0.4.2 patches. Now, these updates created a few alterations to the AI. I think I'm going to stop using that term because we're really talking about the NPCs. And the term AI has such a negative connotation around today. But I'll probably end up using it once or twice, maybe more. Now, on to the video. Are the NPCs acting as intended, or are they slightly bugged? Well, I'll address the two recent patches and the function of the NPCs, and would love to offer an explanation from the devs, but I'm not really getting any answers directly. So I'll have to use my best guess plus evidence, and not that the devs really owe me anything anyway, right? So, let's start with why this topic and where did it come from? Well, that's an easy answer for me. After the recent patches, I knew that the AI updates were, well, in the patches. And I fully expected the NPCs to be quote unquote tougher and more tactical. And then started to experience the following three events as consistent, meaning that they would happen several times during either a single game session or in a specific area such as like Tiger Bay, Paw, Midnight Sapphire, or even Fort Narith. So let's get into the patches. And, well, hotfixes really, and then the one patch that came out. So hotfix 4.0.1. This patch was overhauled, and I formerly called it 4.1 and 4.2. Sorry. Now, this update overhauled the game's ballistics and AI interactions. Impact angle adjustments, steep angles no longer caused massive penetration loss, giggity, and the system now favors lethality at off angles, making well-placed shots more reliable. Ricochet reduction. Bullets are less likely to bounce off of surfaces or bone, improving kill consistency. I think we all noticed that, and I actually kind of squealed like a little girl when I saw it because actual real tracer rounds do that. Not necessarily off bone, but off of hard surfaces like rocks and so on and so forth. However, bone interaction fixes. Bullets are less likely to ricochet internally off of bones that should be penetratable. Penetratable. Where'd I get that one from? Anyway, kill reliability. The adamantium AI skulls and other armor issues were addressed, making head and torso shots more effective. These changes made AI targets easier to kill with standard weapons, shifting the tactical meta towards a more direct engagement style. And then hotfix 4.0.2. This update focused on making AI more dangerous and adaptive. More dangerous AI, NPCs now react more aggressively and unpredictably, increasing threat levels both in PvE and PvP. This change kind of moved into the react to contact AI, where they would move tactically once engaged. Prior to that, they would just kind of stand there like range targets. Even the devs noticed and made a comment about it. The visibility indicator was added for this. A new UI element that helps players track enemy visibility, which can influence AI engagement patterns. So if you are in the visibility range and they see you, they will engage, or at least make their presence known and make themselves aware, or let you be aware that they see you. The lower level characters will kind of like wave at you, like, get the hell out of here. And then if you don't, they'll engage, as to where like the soldiers in Tiger Bay or Fort Narith would just engage you. Darker nights came out of this patch. The environmental changes, the nighttime lighting, may also affect AI behavior and player tactics. Darker nights meant pretty much the requirement of nods. So NVGs pretty much became a mainstay at night. Everybody searching for Pec 15s. In my opinion, that kind of change made the game a little bit more realistic and kind of added to the immersion. General AI improvements came out with this, while not fully detailed in the patch notes, because I didn't really see exactly what it was, and I'll read through them as far as like the full patch. The update's more dangerous AI label suggested that enhanced threat modeling, movement, and engagement logic were implemented. We don't know exactly what it is that the devs decided to do, but we do know from the full patch of 4.2, 0.4.2, because the game's still in pre-alpha, so patch 1 is going to be the full release, assuming. As described in the video, and the link for that is in the description for the devlog, the AI fixed an issue where AI NPCs could engage players from longer distances than intended. That was fixed. Fixed an issue where AI patrols failed to react to players, remained unresponsive. So they don't stand still anymore. They actually react to contact, which is, I agree with this. Adjusted AI NPC behavior to reposition more frequently and reposition to smaller cover positions more frequently. So they would go run and cover or get to some kind of concealment and engage you from more effective angles. So if you're a solo player, that means that they're going to disperse and try to surround you or suppress you, which is smart. I would do the same thing if it was a solo target. Added additional AI NPCs to late game areas such as, Sapphire and Tiger Bay, and increased the overall AI difficulty in late game areas. And that's where I'm going to address some points. And increase the NPC's accuracy in all areas. And that's another one that I would like to address, but I didn't really add it. And that's the miraculous headshot in the middle of the night when they can't see you and you're moving. It happens. I wouldn't say that that's a consistent problem that needed to be addressed because it's like a one-off. It's only happened once since the patches come out, at least to me. But some other people have complained. I don't want to say that word because I don't think it's really a complaint. They're just like, oh man, what the hell's going on? So it's happened more than once to a couple players, but they probably play a lot more hours than I do. So I'm going to go ahead and get into the 3 topics that I want to address from these patches and what I've seen or experienced directly and where I got the answers and the resolutions. Well, they're not fully resolved because they're working on it. So the first one I'd like to address is the bullet sponge, making the AI tougher. I can only describe this as hitting the target either center mass or in vital areas that would produce results ending in death or incapacitation, using as few rounds as necessary to accomplish the previous 2 events. However, the target is not subdued with just 5 or 6 rounds, but rather 10 or more rounds, and in some cases, and I've actually got this recorded, 15 shots on target with soft armor using an AK-308 and AP ammunition less than 50 meters away. Now, I know ballistics. I know them well enough to say that the cavitation at less than 50 meters from a 7.62 by 51 on AP, which is a high-speed round, is going to leave one hell of a hole going out. And it's going to pull everything that it went through with it. Speed kills when it comes to ballistics. That's insane. Now, I've got an explanation for this, and I'll get into those later on. The second one is the NPC's cat vision, which I briefly described earlier. The NPCs in the game do not have NVGs and should make their vision extremely limited at night. And the issue here is, on occasion, the NPCs can see better than you with your nods on. The NPCs then engage you at what seems an impossible odds, and you get, I'm going to go ahead and say it, you get Tarkov'd in Gray Zone. And if you've played Tarkov, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Head and eyes. Now, that shouldn't be a possibility. But like I said, I'll get into the discussion that I had with certain people and the resolution that could potentially come out very soon. The movement impossible. And I know that some, if not all of you that play Gray Zone have experienced this one at one point or another, because it happens so frequently that it's impossible not to notice. When the NPC gets hit in the gut or maybe some other vital area and starts the I'm hurt mechanic, which means they're going to buckle over or bend over at the waist, maybe even tuck up into some kind of movement that suggests that they're hurt. Now, what happens is this movement, this visual buckling over, makes the NPC impervious to damage, which is disconcerting, as it is the optimum time to open up and drop them, or at least eliminate the target. But you put 5 or 6 more rounds on target and they just don't do anything. You get a through and through mechanic that looks like you're shooting through them because the round is impacting something directly behind them, but it's not causing any damage. So what gives? Now, we'll get into that. Now, these are the 3 issues or events that I've experienced with the last 2 updates, and these are the problems. The other additions to the game are amazing, and I still love playing this game. I fully expect the Madfinger team to work on adjustments to the game and the AI as it inches even closer and closer to the full release in the future. So, to the solutions and expectations. Bullet Sponge. This is not what it was intended when the team wanted harder AI, as I have received information, not from the devs, mind you, but from reliable sources close to them, at least closer than I am, anyway. And they are aware of the sponginess of the NPCs and will be addressing the issue as they fully intend on making the game better, right? Without sacrificing difficulty, of course. So I expect in the near future that the AI will get addressed yet again. Not saying to expect it in the next patch or 2, but eventually it's probably going to happen. So have just a little bit of patience. The night vision AI. The explanation here is kind of a simple one, or at least to me it is. Sometimes motherfuckers just get lucky, and spray and pray is a thing. I've seen it firsthand in several places. Been a few places to seen it, of course. Was part of a team that trained the Iraqi police and the Iraqi army, and inshallah, I guess. Boy. Now, I haven't seen this happen in the game enough to warrant calling it a bug or intended outcome from engaging the NPCs. So even a broken clock is right twice a day, right? I think it's just luck on the AI's part. The invulnerability. Now, this one's kind of a twofold thing. The movement mechanic is not intended to make the AI impervious to the damage, but rather it's a hit registration error that the code is missing due to the hitbox being adjusted during the cutscene or the movement mechanic. Now, this indicates that the NPC is hurt, but it also causes an error when the hitbox starts to shrink or expand or move in a different direction. And this can occur from either hardware rendering on your end. Now, I'm not blaming anybody here for that, or netcode errors at the same time. And these could occur on top of the unintended hitbox misalignment. Now, that's kind of what we gathered as far as like getting the information and putting it together to assume, and that's the key word here, is we're making assumptions just based on people who are in the know and people who write code. And this is what they described to me as part of the problem, or at least a potential problem. I'm not saying that that's what's going on here, because none of us that were having this discussion have access to their code. So we don't really know, but it seemed logical when we were discussing it. Now, to summarize these issues, it's either being addressed directly or it's the unintended consequences of coding that can occur when making a difficult game, as Gray Zone is, because their ballistic math is impeccable and I appreciate it. Now, the Madfinger team is impressive with what they've done so far and what they've been able to accomplish. And I have faith that they will present an even better gaming experience going forward. So this is definitely not a knock video on them, not by any stretch of the imagination. Now, as a bonus to this, I did have a rather lovely discussion on their Discord over ballistics, spalling, fragmentation, and cavitation. Now, I'm going to go ahead and break down spalling and fragmentation as defining terms, because I don't want to bore you with gun nerd terms, but if you look it up, spalling and fragmentation in the dictionary, technically the same damn thing. To me, spalling is the unintended consequence of a round striking a solid object, as to where fragmentation is the intended expectation of the makeup of the round, such as fragmentation ammo, or if anybody's ever shot competitions, you shoot with what they call soft rounds, which impact targets but spall immediately or break apart. They look like solid powder, look like a frozen round or something. I don't want to get into technical jargon. People won't understand what the hell I'm saying anyway. I love the discussion between some of their mods and the community members. And the question going to the devs from the discussion that we had is on impact fragmentation and if it's truly in the game, intended or not, and what ballistic data did they use to ascertain the fragmentation from. I mean, ballistic gel and differing protections, such as plates or soft armor, have to be considered in order to accurately predict the 3 ballistic questions on each caliber and ammunition type: cavitation, fragmentation, and kinetic energy at the point of impact. All of that conversation was extremely interesting. I look forward to hearing the devs answer those questions, provided that they do, hopefully soon. Now, I'm honestly looking forward to the patch 05 to see what they bring to the Gray Zone and the squad tasks that they mentioned before in the dev stream a while back. Well, actually, a week ago? And I would really enjoy hearing what it is that they're going to do. So I'll leave the discussion on the table. That's it for this week. And hopefully I have the time between VA appointments to talk to you guys again and bring you more content to enjoy. And as always, noobs, be good or be good at it. Dead Noob out.